Hey guys, so I'm back. I wanted to pop in and cover a topic that kind of has been coming up a lot. Something that came up for me when I was opening up my gifts a lot and, learning how to connect divinely and in a way that was going to feel really good. And I'm going to go turn down the TV a little tiny bit here. There you go. So, as you guys hop on, say hello. I think that this topic is pretty fun, interesting, hopefully helpful for a lot of you guys. Because what I have been finding a lot of the time is that people, they'll get these amazing insights or they'll get this amazing intuitive hit and they just don't always trust it. So I see that quite a bit, and just like bringing some of you guys in, inviting y'all in. As you hop in, say hello. Would love for you guys to say hi. I'd love to hear from you on what is up in your worlds, what's new for you guys. I haven't been live as much in here, moving, like creating content like crazy, and letting myself rest before we ramp up some of the new projects that are coming up. So, hey Laura. So, this topic comes up a lot. Have you guys ever had the question in your head, when you've been opening up to your intuitive insights, was that my intuition or was that my imagination? Was that a spiritual communication or was that just me being weird? Was that just my thoughts? Who's had those types of questions? When I first started opening up and I was in the very beginning of my spiritual journey, and honestly, every once in a while, I have human buddies that I check in with and get some, feedback from and get validation from and stuff still here and there. Because what I found is that with these spiritual journeys, when we have been conditioned throughout our entire lives and we've chosen to believe that and not been taught in school about the spiritual realms, right? We're not exactly taught about that stuff. And some of us who had certain upbringings with different, Catholic Church and stuff have found that communicating with spirit is taboo. It was not allowed. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like we were taught this shit in school. Like, hey, you can talk to guides, you can talk to loved ones who crossed over, you can totally channel Maya Angelou or Hitler or whoever you want to talk to. You can totally communicate with archangels and angels. You can download insights, you can download intuitive wisdom. Sometimes you just know. We're brought up, and I'm not gonna knock science, right? But we are brought up, and this is very intentional, by the powers that be, the hierarchical structures that want us to not tap in to our power. And we choose to believe that. We choose to believe we're powerless. So I wanna help you tap into that on your own, right? That's what Infinitely Wise Woman is all about in the second round and in the first round as well. The second round, we're gonna take it a little bit farther, right? So what I found is that we are often raised in society structures and in schools where math and science are very heavily regarded. Like they're really pushed on our kids to get into STEM programs and stuff like that. So we are taught through these types of systems, and it's okay, I'm not saying math and science are not important at all. I think it's good to have ground beneath your feet too. But I think your intuition and your self-trust should be that ground. Not just only what you can see, what you can feel, what you can touch, what you can physically hear. I think that our trusting that there's more to life than what we can see, what we can feel, what we can hear, what we can touch, what we can smell, what we can taste. I think we can begin to trust that that is real. And we're not taught that in science and in math in school. We're taught that we need to have tangible evidence, right? We are taught that we need to be able to see it to believe it. We are taught that it needs to be able to be validated and proven, right? And we, I think a lot of the time, I don't know if we know any better. There are some of us who grow up saying, well, I can see and hear and feel and smell and touch, and I experience these things on a regular basis. But many of us may, even if we had that as a little bit as a kid, we don't carry it with us for a long time. So what I've been finding, raise your hand if this is you, many people are going through awakenings, especially later life, like quarter life. And Kanye West just talked about this yesterday. He was on an interview and they said, how do you know that this is true for you? And he said, or why would you say this, basically? And he said, Spirit told me to. That man going through a massive awakening. Massive. So what I think is super interesting, right, is we are taught in the echelons of society structures and programmings and educational systems, and I'm not blaming teachers. I think teachers are also in these mindsets that everything has to be tangible and has to be fact-based, and it's reinforced for them as well through the hierarchical structures that dictate the educational system as well, and same thing with religious institutions, that it needs to be tangible. Now, here's the deal. I have found that the ground beneath my feet feels a lot less wobbly and a lot more steady when I trust myself. Whether that means I am seeing things that other people don't see, or I'm hearing things from beings that other people don't hear, I'm having feelings that other people aren't having, but probably are having and just don't fucking talk about, or just write off as coincidence, right? When I trust that phantom smell that I'm getting, there goes that pot smell, everyone smell, or it just flares up, that's me. Or like the stinky sock, he gave me a stinky sock smell once. It was like, so gross, bro. He wants to make it fun for us. Or, you know, you get that taste in your mouth, like you think about something. I think the more I trust those moments, and the more I trust those amazing ideas that I download, or those intuitive hits of insight about someone or something, or I will be honest, my precognizance lately has been off the charts and not wrong. Not wrong. It's crazy. The downloads and the intuitive insight and the wisdom I'm getting through multiple vehicles, the more that you trust even the things that don't seem tangible yet, and they're saying science is proving the existence of us. It's just not being shared widely. A lot of you guys would think of it as being conspiracy theory. It's not. It's just taboo in your society because you've been indoctrinated out of believing in us and in our realms, is what they're saying, and in the energetic systems at play keep you in that fear frequency of going out there and saying, what if I trusted myself this much? What if I tapped into this? What if I wasn't afraid of it anymore? What if I allowed it in? What if I let myself be held? And they're saying, and earlier I got a hug from Maya Angelou from behind the shoulders, like from behind me, and she like pressed her face like a mom or a grandma would hug you, and I just totally took that in and started crying. It felt so good. And they're like, why would these experiences be wrong or bad? They're like, really think about it. Why would it be wrong for you guys or scary for you to have communication from higher consciousness beings who want the best for you to live happily and to create egalitarian societies and to break the hierarchical structures and to break free from your fears and break free from your norms, from your systems that aren't working and aren't serving you? Why would that be bad? Why would it be wrong? Why would it be bad for you to trust your intuitive insight and trust those downloads of wisdom that come to you, or trust those channeled messages that just seem to drop in when you just got to go live and you got to share this shit like right now? Why would it be wrong for you to know things about people or beings, to have insight into their world and be able to empathize with them on a deeper level and understand things about them that makes you love them more? Because you get them. Why would that be bad? And they're saying, really think about it. It's not bad. But the way you've been taught in your society to stay with the current systems at play, to not break the rules, to not break the norm, to play it safe, to not rattle the cages too much. And they're saying, and we mean that literally because you guys are putting yourselves in cages. It's not safe for the hierarchical structures and the beings who are in powerful positions who make a lot of money off of your suffering and your struggle and your sacrifice, and you guys thinking you need to work and reduce play and what they were talking about yesterday with the food systems. They were like, look at how much land you guys have. It's insane that you guys are going to grocery stores. You guys could plant complete gardens in your backyards and be harvesting and canning things and pickling things and have food throughout the winter. It's insane. Like they were like, think about the systems you're indoctrinated into that you don't even question and don't even think about. Think about the monetary systems. You don't need to use money. You guys could barter and survive and be totally fine. You'd be thriving if you didn't rely on this fake money that you've invented. So they're saying, so the powers that be make a lot of money and feed off of your energy. And we don't mean that to scare you. We just mean this as in, we want you to start looking at the reasons why you do not trust what you know. Why don't you trust who you are and what you know you're here to do, to be, to create in the world? Why don't you trust that loving internal guidance system? Because you have been taught that it is wrong to trust your feelings over the tangible experiences and things that you can see and hear and read in a book that science can prove. We are here to tell you, and I'm here to tell you guys, I know this isn't easy all the time for a lot of us. I've definitely gone through my share of experiences and coming out of the woo closet many times. As one of my really awesome friends has said, Allie, we're always coming out of a closet. All the time. But in my eyes, we're the ones putting us there. It took me a long time to say, wow, I allowed myself to fall into these systems. I allowed myself to believe these things. I allowed myself to think it's unsafe to challenge the norm or to live my life differently or to believe in the messages and believe in the wisdom that I'm getting, to trust the precognizance. It's taken me, I'm still struggling with trusting my precognizance, and then things come true and then I'm like, oh, fuck. So they're like, you want evidentiary support, you're getting it. So it's really interesting how little we look within ourselves and how little we trust our internal guidance systems, like our emotions and our belief systems are, kind of wired to continuously override that internal guidance system because of the way that we've been taught in our society and the way that we are just taught that going to school is right and going to certain types of schools are better and stuff like that. But what we really want you guys to develop and what we're going to use emotionally, well, it is emotionally too, but infinitely wise woman is to help you guys not just learn how to channel, not just learn how to tap into your intuition so you can make more money or you can, meet that hot soulmate lover. We're not just going to help you tap into receiving energy. And I've got some awesome stuff coming on this. We're not just going to talk to you about the diet and frequency upgrades and stuff. We're going to talk to you about how to trust yourself so deeply, mentally, emotionally, consciously, that you are making decisions for yourself, trusting what you know, and noticing when you're getting developmental insights and intuitive wisdom that will help you change your life and therefore change the world. It's on your plate, baby.
No, it's not.
Did you eat it?
No, Buddy eat it.
He did. All right, I'll make you another one. I'm gonna make Finn a sandwich while I'm talking. So we want you guys to just start to tap into this a little bit more and start to ask yourself, why don't I trust myself and what I know to be right or to be true for me? Why don't I know the answers? Because we do. We always know. We always know the right answers for us. We always know what's best and highest for us. We always know when we're getting a download about someone and we know that they just need a hug today, or we know, like I'll have downloads about, Carson or Finn, or my team will come in and pop in and tell me, hey, Finn is frustrated because, and they'll tell me what's actually going on. They'll tell me when he's depleted energetically sometimes. Here, baby. Okay, I'll make you chocolate milk. Here's a sandwich. All right, don't let Buddy get it. Hold it with 2 hands. My intuition is telling me that sandwich is going to end up on the floor in the dog's mouth, in the dog's belly. So it's really interesting because we want to trust ourselves. We want to open up to spirit. We want to let in the infinite wisdom that we have and to lead better lives. And these are the things that it is you tapping into your internal power and your internal wisdom. Of course, people who make a lot of money off of us wouldn't want us to do that. I know that, and I don't mean that in like a negative, like down with the systems, I'm not meaning that in a negative way. What I'm meaning though is, why is it not safe for us to be that powerful, to be that loving, to create massive change in the world that comes from us trusting what we know to be right? And a lot of us know that the way that we're living and the way that we're doing things and the inaction, that we're having, you know, where we have all these intuitive wisdoms and intuitive insights, and then we just say, it's not safe for me to go act on this. It's not safe for me to write that controversial book, or to go and go to these meetings, or to start some meetups where we're talking about spiritual wisdom and we're talking about creating change in the community and stuff. It's not safe for me to do that. You know what I mean? Why are we saying that? Why aren't we trusting ourselves? Why aren't we opening up to more of these downloads and more of these insights? Well, we've got them all the time. Your spirit team's working with you day and night. They're like, God, you guys, we work with so many of you guys in your sleep. It's not even funny, because you won't listen to us in your waking hours. And the reason you won't listen to us in the waking hours is because you are in your heads all the time, worried about what's going on right in front of you, and in these stressful, fearful states that you can't open up to us. And not to mention, you've been trained to be in those states through your societal systems, through watching the news. They're saying you guys are fear-mongered to death. Literally, it causes disease in your bodies, disease in your structures, disease in your systems. So what we want you to know is that what you need most is to trust and honor and love yourself so fully that you can begin to make, they're saying, monumental changes and incremental increases in frequency. And that's what we're gonna do in Infinitely Wise Woman. It's all about that, because that's how you open up to spirit and wisdom. I'm getting it! My intuition is telling me not so much dairy for him and the team. They've been kind of telling me to cut the dairy a little bit more. So what questions do you guys have about this? Because doing this type of work that we will do in Wise Woman, it's for men too this time, very conscious men. I'm paying very close attention to who is interested. What, baby? He ate it again? I nailed that. I nailed that prediction. Okay, no more leaving the sandwich, because Buddy Puggle has had too many snacks. He's a Puggle, and he is not... he is not built to eat people food all the time. I know, it's so funny. At the same time, I'm like, stop. All right, now you need to watch this sandwich. If you leave the couch, take the sandwich with you. Got it? Peanut butter jelly sandwich. I call my peanut butter and jelly. Isn't it funny how we call our kids, like, we say things to our kids like, I want to eat you up, you're so cute. Or they're like, it's like a carnivore thing. So does anyone have questions? Because this is definitely stuff we're gonna cover in Wise Woman. And last time it was only open to women, and the women who joined it said they had massive breakthroughs. They all started channeling by the end, or tapping into their intuition. One of the gals who didn't end up, channeling with guides, she ended up tapping into her true strength, which is insane claircognizance. Like, she can get on the phone with someone and just download ideas for their business and spot their blind spots. I've had her do readings for me, and I'm like, holy fuck, she's so tuned in. Like, it's amazing what these women began to open up themselves to. And a lot of them we did a lot of practice, and we will do this in the next round. There's a lot of tuning into the A-team. They will come and visit you guys if they're not already. So they'll come in more consciously. Like Eric went and visited everyone. They have specific exercises that they do with everyone, not just meditations, but opportunities where they come and visit each person, and they say, hey, so-and-so is going to come visit, or like, I'll practice with the girls. They'll tap in, see who they're picking up, different stuff like that. Each of them started to we did intros to the guides, but we're going to do a lot more this time. Classes on auto writing, or sessions on auto writing, sessions on diet and exercise, and lots of mind tweaks and frequency tweaks. So does anyone have questions about anything I'm talking about? Because I think a lot of the time we are programmed, in our society to say it's just imagination, when it's not. It's just my imagination. No, it's not. It's intuition. It's a guide. When you get that sense that your grandma's with you, yeah, she's probably fucking with you. She's not, it's not your imagination. I'm getting it, baby. It's not your imagination, So I think we're often trained out of this stuff to trust what we're seeing, what we're sensing, what we're hearing, what we're feeling. So I'm curious, have you guys had those types of experiences where you were like, I know that this person's visiting me, but I don't know why I can't trust it? I'm gonna try and set this guy up. There we go. Has anyone had those types of experiences? Because I know in the beginning I certainly did. when Eric first started coming around. For whatever reason, I was more open to him and the possibility of him coming around. When Paul Walker came in, I was like, this cannot fucking be real. And then I had it validated by a couple different people. So you will get a lot of that in the group. So what questions do you guys have? Or as Miranda Sings would say, questions. I finally got some good chocolate milk. I made it with part almond milk, but don't tell him that. He's gonna be like, he like just knows the difference in the boxes, but then when he drinks them, he thinks they're the same. I used to be really confused when I would smell things that weren't there. Yeah, because you're just like, where did that even come from? Where did that even come from? But I think that's actually one of the really beautiful experiences too, that people don't, when people think about tuning into spirit, they don't think about the smells or the tastes that you can experience. Think about how you could curb your cravings if you could let yourself taste sugar cookies when you want a sugar cookie without having to eat it. Like, isn't that funny? Oh, you did? You saw her live? Oh, that's so funny. I saw her on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. And I was like, I need to check out her stuff. Because she went on the show with Jerry Seinfeld as Miranda, not as herself. It was so funny. Oh, some of the tastes were yucky, yeah. So what's really interesting is the team is saying when it comes to taste, some people, they'll taste food, or children, they're saying listen to your kids, because sometimes kids will taste a food and they say it tastes bad. They're more sensitive to the vibrational quality of the food. Some people and some adults are very sensitive to that stuff, and that's why they're like, I can't eat meat. Or sometimes they're like, sometimes when you guys get pregnant, you stop eating meat. There's a reason. Like, you can't eat meat, and that's because that baby is saying, I need you to be at a higher frequency, and I need you to not be taking in dead animal flesh that is of a low vibration. Really interesting, right? So that's what yesterday's live was about. Go back and watch that one if you guys are curious, because we're going to cover vibrational quality of food and how that affects spiritual communication. We're going to cover, for the most part in Wise Women, the vibrational quality of you, and removing some of the belief systems like that are indoctrinated even in the spiritual realms, like in the spiritual groups. Oh, well, I've been tuning into spirit since I was 5, so I'm better. No, you're not better. Only some people have these gifts. No, everyone has these gifts. Only some people are intuitive. Nope, everyone's intuitive. Men are intuitive. They call it gut instinct, or they say, I just know. Women have issues owning that shit, you know? Ooh, they're saying patriarchal society has really dominated that industry of the spiritual realms, Allison. So that is often why men are trusted over women. The Catholic Church did a good job with that. That's what they're saying. I'm just saying. Any questions? Any thoughts? Questions, thoughts? I feel like my abilities are expanding, but it feels harder to receive the messages. It's not hard unless you make it hard. Eric just goes, like, oops. I've been hanging out in this group that explores sexuality, so the sexual humor has been. He goes, whoops. Like, Jesus. So, so yeah, he's saying, that's what she said, yeah. He's saying, yeah, it's only difficult if you make it difficult. If you keep telling yourself the story of it's hard for me to receive messages, and he goes, this is what we're talking about with the mind stuff that we do in this group. Like, we do a lot of mindset work in this group because a lot of people don't realize that having belief systems like life is hard, it's a struggle, I can't trust my intuition, I have to look outside to learn from other authority figures all the time. One of the primary things in this program is we help you trust yourself and listen to yourself first. That was key on my spiritual journey. If you don't trust you, you will not trust when you're receiving messages from them, and you will not receive their insights. You will not be open to receiving it, so you probably won't hear it, you know? And if you do hear it, you'll be like, no, that can't possibly be. So, or that can't be right. And so they're saying we want you guys to really, really pay attention to your thoughts. Mind shifting, Lori, is just constant. For me, it's still constant. I'm not going to pretend I'm there or done. they're saying, so I mean, I do trust that I'm a very clear conduit channel, right? I've done a lot of readings and a lot of teaching and a lot of channeling. So I do trust that I'm a clear channel, but I still have times where I'm still working on my mind. I'm still working on vibrational things, vibrational quality. I actually set a belief a while back and began to work on that no matter how I feel that day, I can still receive messages from spirit. They're like, because the universe is a match to your vibration. So that's of a higher receiving energy than saying, oh my gosh, when I'm feeling down or depressed, I can't receive messages from spirit and God leaves me. They're like God would leave you. Come on. Like love would ever leave you. So isn't that interesting? So that's what we are going to talk about, is peeling back some of the often taught things in the spiritual world. They're saying there's some belief systems that are taught that don't serve you guys. So we want to help you guys how to create a better vibrational, like a happier reality for you guys through this program. It's not only about channeling ancestors and guides, though we will talk about loved ones, guides, medium readings, stuff like that. We're also going to talk about what are all the ways you can use your gifts. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, I don't want to be a medium. You don't have to be a medium. You can use these gifts in consulting. You can use them in child rearing. You can use them in the educational system if you're a teacher, to tap into your kids and figure out what's going on with who and what needs to taught and what needs to be taught in what way. You can use them to be a teacher, a writer, an author, a speaker. You can use them in the corporate world. You can use them. They're like, fuck, why would you go back to corporate with this shit going on though? You can use it to talk to plants and understand what's going on with Mother Earth. You can use it in gardening. You can use it in the rainforest preserve efforts. You can use it in cause-related efforts, in equality-related efforts. They're like, you guys, this is not just about opening you guys up to mediumship. It's about opening you up to the divine nature of your being in the world. And that's why we have you tap into your trust in yourself first. So working with your mind is essential, because you guys have been heavily indoctrinated into some belief systems. I'm still finding out about beliefs that I have that I did not realize were not true, according to the spiritual beings. They're like, no, you got taught that. You would never even question it. That's why it's indoctrinated. That's why we call it that. So it's really interesting, right? Really interesting. So that's what they're going to teach us, is not, oh, here's the prescription, follow our plan. It's very much though, they're like, we want, and I'm very much like this too, I want to help you guys find your way. How do you want to tap in? What feels good for you? Some people will never want to channel guides. They'll want to always tap into their own intuition. Some people will say, I really want to talk to guides. I don't trust myself yet, so we'll start there. But we're always going to help you guys with the mind programs, with working with your thoughts and your belief systems, working with your vibration, keeping the vibration higher, not to bypass feelings, but to understand feelings, how to read people, how to work with telepathy, how to work with programs, and not to manipulate, but to understand and to empathize and to help solve problems before they become problems. Telepathy is really good for that. Precognizance, we're going to talk about intuitive insights most of all, because that's what most people don't trust. So when they don't trust it, even though it feels good and it feels life-giving and it feels exciting and it feels like this is the right thing for me to do, people won't take action, even if they get the download, right? Even a lot of spiritual people. I've had some areas where I've hesitated too until I literally got pushed into it. Yes, I do think it would be helpful for someone who's already connected in channeling, because it can only help you to deepen your trust, and we're also going to go above and beyond just channeling guides, way above and beyond. They're saying there's also going to be some exploration, and I've been kind of dancing around this a lot, but there will be exploration of Kundalini and sexual frequency energy and removing shame, because the shame around sexual energy is atrocious, is what they're saying. And that is your creative life force energy, that when you remove the shame around that, you have no idea how much spiritual wisdom you will open up to when you remove that shame from your body and your society. They're saying there's heavily indoctrinated belief systems around sex in your society, which many of you are aware of, but you're not aware of to the extent. And so we wish to speak with you on this. We'll do a live stream too, but it's going to be taught about because it affects your frequency, and because it affects your belief systems, because it affects your ability to trust yourself. And when it comes to channeling and it comes to opening up to the spiritual realms and opening up to your higher self, removing those frequencies of shame, having shame for desire, having shame for wanting to have sex or have a partner, having shame around your creative life force energy, they were like, the powers that be really don't want you to tap into that. Let's just say that. They really don't want you to tap into the life and the bliss that is in that energy. So I've even been drawn towards Tantra a lot over the last like 6 months. So I do feel it would be important only because a lot of the programs, you know, they cover like, how do I open my clairs? We'll talk about that stuff a little bit. But this is going to go a lot deeper. What's happening? My daughter is getting all messages I am studying. She's always resisted, but is so open this week and today. So our impact on our loved ones. Yes, telepathy is on high. It's the vibrational shifts happening with the earth. And they were like, people are going to, I did it's a podcast and a PodMind live stream with Ashley on the ISC page. And then I did another one on my personal page about collective consciousness and telepathy in conscious communication in relationships. When you allow yourselves to stop writing that stuff off as coincidence and start to talk about the fact of course you got this download. That's what I've been thinking about. Or I've been studying this. That's so interesting that came up for you. Why don't you tell me what your reaction was to having this thought about Tantra? Because I didn't know you were into Tantra. And they're like, I didn't know I was either. I just had a thought about it. I didn't know you were studying it. Are you studying it? Think about the conversations that open up when we're willing to say like, ooh, I want to explore this with you without saying, oh, well, I already know about that and yada, yada, yada. But instead saying, oh, tell me what you're thinking about it. What download did you get? So like Ashley and I do this all the time. And my friend Megan, we find a lot of the times I'll ask Ashley, I'm like, no, you're probably getting something different than me. So tell me what you're getting. You might have another piece of my puzzle. You know what I mean? And I have pieces of your puzzle, and we're meant to talk about the wisdoms we're getting. We're here to have a relationship. That's part of why Wise Women is so amazing, because it's the group collaborative experience. You guys get to talk to each other. And that's why Ashley and I did our mastermind, you know, because us talking together is huge. It creates huge impact, and having that support system is amazing. So that's, you're going to see that happening more and more. Do not resist telepathy, you guys. I'm telling you guys, if you guys are resistant to telepathy, you'll have issues with spiritual messages. If you're resistant to the concept of collective consciousness, getting spiritual messages is gonna, they're just saying, okay, it's gonna make it easier if you're cool with collective consciousness and oneness, right? I'm love, you're love, we're all love, at least that. Bridging the gap between separate self and the one self. Right? They're like, that's going to help a lot. So they are going to teach about that. And they were like, not a lot of teachers teach about this. So it's kind of unique. Diane said, some of the messages are so subtle, it's hard knowing when it was a message. And they're saying, so what we want you to do in those cases, and they teach this a lot, is ask who it is, trust the first answer you get. If it says it's your higher self, cool. Or it's just me, cool. Why would you not trust what's coming from you? And they said a lot of you guys will want to channel because you think, oh, if I have access to my guides, that can circumvent all of the trust that I lack in myself because I don't have this wisdom. And they're like, no, we're here to help you tap into your own wisdom. Because we are part of your consciousness. We're part of the whole collective. We're not separate from any of you guys. We're all connected to each other. So when you're thinking about, is it a message? Is it from a specific messenger? They're like, you can ask and trust the first answer you get. If it's Eric or you get another name and you don't know the name, cool, just write it down and let it go and just trust the message. They're saying trust the message over fixating on who the messenger is. Does that help? They're like, a lot of the time it's not the messenger, it's the message that's important. And that can relieve a lot of fear frequency, so it opens you up more. Opens you up to channel even more when you're just like, okay, I don't have to get stuck on this facet of it. I just have to accept that the message was meant to be received, and that's it. Any other questions in here? I don't see any more questions. Hey, Samantha. Hey, Shauna. So yeah, so Wise Women is coming back. The doors are going to open soon. I'm excited about it. I'm super, super stoked. We have like almost 4 times the amount of people on the wait list as joined last time. So I don't know if necessarily every single person will join, but I anticipate there will be more people jumping on board. And then we're going to try and work in a meetup as well for the group. I'm really excited about that part. I'm just feeling like getting together in person and channeling together and working together is going to be great. It's going to be great for everyone. Yay. Okay, well, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to hop off. If you guys have questions and you want to hop on the wait list for this, go to intuitivesoulcollective.com. Hey, Jillian, we're just talking about intuition. What? So if you guys are curious about Infinitely Wise Woman for women and men, it's going to be off the heezy, they're saying. They're like, it's going to be off the hook, bro. And they're just like, yeah, like Paul's here. He's like, so he popped in to teach last time. It was kind of fun. So let us know if you have questions. Go sign up for the wait list there. It'll be up in the navigation bar or at the link at the top of this group page. There's a nice little link up there. Let me know if you guys have questions ahead of time. If you want to book a call, I will have a call to schedule in. And I think I'm going to do like a group call or a group live to answer questions about it. So just know that there's going to be a lot of great stuff coming with it. A lot of heart-to-heart connections, teaching from the team, teaching with me, but also you guys getting to experiment and play. I like to do a lot of adventures when it comes to this stuff. So we're going to do a lot more play and experiments and fun opportunities for you guys to test your intuition, because you always are using your intuition at all times. You literally can't not to use it. Like, it's always there. We just don't always trust it. So it's going to really be focused on helping you remove the doubt and the second guessing so that you can open up more and you can begin to take action more. Okay, so I hope that you guys will consider joining. It's a group thing, so it's group calls. It's not just like, you know, me doing videos like this. It's you guys getting to ask questions back and forth and getting to talk to each other. So it's on Zoom. It's not on live stream. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The girls in it last time said that they opened up like amazingly to start channeling and start trusting their intuition. And now the next part is just taking action on that and just knowing when to work with it. Getting into flow state. Going with the flow, yo. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get going. Yeah, come back and watch the replay. I'm gonna keep it up here. Let me know if you have questions as you watch the replay. Pop them in the comments. PM me if you would like to book a call. I do have a couple of one-on-ones open. I don't do a lot of one-on-one, but I do have a couple of one-on-ones open. And if you have questions about this, let me know. And they're saying, adios, muchachos. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you later.